Conference Championship Week is finally here, and we're going to be talking a lot about that as I go over my college football top 25. But stick with me until the end of the video because I'm also going to give you my top 5 Heisman Trophy contenders. But first, what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below where we have that nice, beautiful football discourse. And of course, we got to first talk about my fallers out of the top 25, with only one this week being Kansas State, playing that fun snow game against Iowa State, but they come up on the short end of the stick. Therefore, they have fallen out of my top 25, which means a new team was added. But my 5 teams that just missed the cut, my first team in is SMU. SMU will be competing for the American Conference Championship this week, Saturday, I believe, against Tulane. Big win this past week, where I mean big in terms of score. They beat Navy 59-14. However, at the expense of Preston Stone, their starting quarterback. We'll see how much that plays into next week's game. It looks like he's probably out for the remainder of the year, but I haven't really seen any update on that. New Mexico State, another team that will be competing for the Conference USA title. Heck, yes, they're going to be taking on Liberty. This is a team that is 10-3. That's right. They played 13 regular season games. And coming off the big win against Auburn last week, they won a close one against Jacksonville State, 20-17. So good on them. I have Miami, Ohio to kind of like round out my group of 5 teams that just missed it, who beat Ball State 17-5. There we go. 17-15, excuse me. They are now 10-2, and they'll be taking on Toledo for the MAC championship. I got Clemson here. They had a good win. They end up kind of saving the season a little bit, I guess. They beat South Carolina 16-7. Tennessee, they had a competitive game for a little bit with Vandy. They ultimately end up winning 48-24. So good on them. Yeah, I mean, I was looking at other teams that could be in this just missed it. Let's just kind of go over it real quick. And like I had like teams like Memphis on the outside looking in, West Virginia, Utah, North Carolina coming off a loss. We also got UNLV who just lost, but they'll be competing for the Mountain West title against Boise State. Kansas had a good win. That was nice to see. Jason Bean was back. But let's go ahead, get into the nitty gritty with 25 being Oregon State. Tough loss against, tough week. Let's just go with a tough week. They lose to Oregon 31-7. They finish the season 8-4, and their head coach is now heading off to Michigan State. He's like, oh, last time I checked, Oregon State wasn't a Power 5 school anymore. I'm going to go ahead and head to the new Power 5. So that kind of sucks. It's going to be interesting to see what all transfers Oregon State will have. But yeah, kind of just bad week for Oregon State. Bad couple of weeks. Troy coming in at 24. They beat Southern Miss 35-17. They'll be playing for the Sun Belt title against Appalachian State, even though it should be JMU. But hey, who am I to question the NCAA? At 23, I have NC State. Peyton Wilson had a game. They beat North Carolina 39-20. Just a huge win. I'm so happy to have NC State in here. We already know this is a team with a very, very good defense. Offense kind of hit and miss. Brennan Armstrong kind of can be a bit everywhere. He had a really good game, though, against North Carolina. They finished the season 9-3. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit shocked. I was here at 22. I'm thinking, I don't know if they even drop. I'm thinking they're going to drop out of my top 25 after the Big Ten championship game, as they'll be taking on Michigan. We'll talk about that Michigan-Ohio State game a little later. But I mean, Iowa, they beat Nebraska 13-10. I don't think they're going to compete, at least very long, with Michigan. This is a team with a very good defense, but offensively, they've been a mess for years. Notre Dame, they brought out the boomstick and just beat the tar out of Stanford 56-23. Audric Estime had like 4 tutties, over 200 yards rushing. They finished the year 9-3. And moving on to number 20, it's Oklahoma State, who will compete for the Big 12 title against Texas. And they had a very exciting game against BYU. Like they end up winning 40-34. But like going into OT, so like not even going to OT, let's start before that. Like Ollie Gordon gets a fabulous looking touchdown. They're up 27-24. The PAT is blocked. So now, BYU, they just need to get a field goal before time expires. And they do that with a 48-yarder. Then it goes to double overtime, which you had Isaac Rex, the tight end for BYU, end up getting the ball ripped away from him for a fumble. Ollie Gordon had 5 touchdowns in this game, utterly ridiculous. So Oklahoma State, they're 9-3. They're going to be taking on Texas. And I don't know if they compete against Texas. I know Texas had some close games here and there, but I don't know. But it's been an interesting ride for Oklahoma State. James Madison sitting here at 19. They were pretty ticked off about losing that Appalachia last week, so they beat the tar out of Coastal Carolina 56-14. They finished the year 11-1. Their year is over. They are not eligible for to compete for the conference title or for a bowl game because the NCAA is stupid. Toledo, they finished the season undefeated in the MAC. They'll be taking on Miami, Ohio. They finished the year 11-1. They beat Central Michigan 32-17. And I imagine they will probably beat Miami, Ohio. But I do believe their game earlier this year, because I believe, yes. It was fairly close. So Miami, Ohio, their only loss in the MAC is against Toledo, and it was a 21-17 game. So honestly, that's going to be a game to look out for. And number 17, I have Tulane. It was basically them and UTSA were competing to see, hey, who will get to take on SMU in the AAC championship game. Tulane wins 29-16. So it will be them. I do think they're the more talented team, though they have shown that they sometimes play down to their competition. Again, things are getting a little fishy with SMU with the quarterback position, with Stone being injured. So we'll find out Saturday how that all goes. Arizona, they go to Tempe. They beat the crap out of the Sun Devils. Good job. What was it, 59-23? The quarterback threw for like 570 yards. It was kind of ridiculous. And Arizona, man, they're on the up and up. The turnaround. They are 9-3, and their losses have all been within 1 score. You look at their good loss. Well, Mississippi State's kind of like a mad loss. They had to go travel to Mississippi State, though. But Washington and USC, those aren't. And USC was kind of the game where I was like, oh, Arizona, look at them coming out here competing. And it's like, oh, man, look at them coming out and winning. What the heck? Oh, did the Washington game actually come out? I think maybe the Washington game was first. I can't recall. It's been a long season. Anywho, let's get to the top 15 with Oklahoma missing out on the Big 12 championship game by virtue of losing to Oklahoma State. They beat TCU in a very high scoring game, 69-45. So they're going to finish the year 10-2 and head to whatever bowl game they are told. LSU, they had a very interesting game against coachless Texas A&M. They ended up being able to pull away 42-30, but legitimately on the back of Jaden Daniels, like, oh my gosh, defense, get a stop. They finished the year 9-3 though, and it's gonna be very interesting to see how much does Jaden Daniels and LSU being 9-3 hurt his Heisman odds. Liberty coming here at 13. They beat UTEP 42-28. I did mention earlier they're going to be going on to take New Mexico State. They are currently 10.5-point favorites, dude. This Liberty team is they are fireworks offensively. They just put up all of the points. There's a good reason why they're 12-0 and likely will be 13-0 heading into bowl season. And then Ole Miss here at 12, not an impressive showing against Mississippi State, but it's a rivalry game, so they end up winning 17-7. They finished the year 10-2. Louisville, this is officially ends their hopes of making the college football playoff as they go down to Kentucky. I think Kentucky, it was Ray Davis who got the go-ahead score, 37-yard rushing touchdown with about a minute left. And Louisville unable to respond after that. They lose 38-31. They will take on Florida State in the ACC championship game, so they can still play spoiler, but their playoff hopes are nunzo funzo. It's been fun. At number 10, I got Penn State. They beat the living tar out of Michigan State, which should be expected. Drew Aller, everyone's putting up, oh, look at how good of a year he had. And it's like, he was definitely not as good as the statistics. I'm kind of shocked that, he only threw one pick this year or something like that. Regardless, Penn State, they're 10-2. They're still kind of like, they're still like the little brother in the Big Ten. At this point, it's all about Michigan. It's all about Ohio State. And at least Penn State gets to be like, yo, if we were in the other conference, we'd be going to the Big Ten championship game every year. Mizzou, they are technically out of the races. I think the last two-loss team I have here. And they beat Arkansas State 48-14. Unfortunately, KJ Jefferson got hurt early in that game, but they ran away with it. Missouri's a very good squad. And it's a shame. This is like the one year where, like, man, 12-team playoff would be absolutely fabulous. That would be a ton of fun. But it's not in the cards. It's not meant to be for Mizzou. Man, they play Georgia tough in Athens. Oh, man. Mizzou's just a team you just root for. Now, we get here at 8. We're talking about all these teams have a chance at the college football playoff. So we have 8 teams and 4 spots. Luckily, a few of them are going to knock each other out with the conference championship game. Let's start with Alabama. First off, that Alabama game was stupid. Like, I think it was about 4 to 5 minutes left where you had the muffed punt by Auburn, who could have just started dwindling time. Auburn was up 24-20 at this point. They muffed the punt, already bad. Bama gets it, and then they're in the red zone. It's like 2nd and goal or 3rd and goal, and errant snap. Stinking Milrow has to jump on it, and now they have 4th and goal from the 30. Auburn's 31, and they have to score. They lose the game if they don't, and they somehow hit a 31-yard touchdown pass on 4th and goal. Man, Auburn just finding ways to lose this year. Wild game. Regardless, that's kind of irrelevant now. It's like we're looking ahead, and if Alabama beats Georgia, they have a very strong case of being the 4th team in the college football playoff, assuming Michigan, Florida State, and Washington win. At this point, they're the SEC champions. Probably the only thing that could stop Alabama is they need Texas to lose as well. So they need Texas to lose the Big 12 championship. If that doesn't happen, then you're going to kind of be hoping for maybe like Oregon beating Washington. But then, I mean, does Oregon slide in instead of Alabama? I would say so. You're hoping for Florida State's downfall. If they don't win, then they're just completely out. So like, there's a lot of different ways this can shake down. But for me, I think Alabama kind of has the longest shot, because first they got to beat Georgia, and then you need like potentially Texas to lose. You need Florida State. Florida State is actually probably the biggest one they need to lose. Like Florida State losing, bam, they're out. Like Washington, no, Texas has to lose. So Texas has to lose. Yep, Texas has to lose. And then, they got beat Georgia. Texas, at that point, Texas has to lose. Can they slide in? Yeah, and if not that, Texas does win. Let's say they slide in. Yeah, no, they would need Florida State. So, yeah, regardless, a lot needs to happen for Alabama. How about that? Texas, you're stuck on the outside looking in. You need Florida State to go down. You need Washington to go down. I'm not even going to mention Michigan. If they don't beat Iowa, I might quit. Quit what? Quit YouTube? No, never. I just might quit. I'm just gonna leave that ambiguous. But yeah, no. So they need a few things still to happen. I think still Oregon probably have the better win. Unless of course Alabama does beat Georgia again. Man, a lot can happen. Oregon, they'll be taking on Washington for the Pac-12 championship. I didn't even mention. Okay, regardless, Oregon and Texas, they both beat down whoever they played this week. Texas beat down Texas Tech 57-7. Oregon beat Oregon State. I already mentioned that one, 31-7. Regardless, these are all teams like Oregon. I think has the best shot to get in without needing help. They just need to win. And whatever else can happen. For me, Oregon's winning, you're in. Going to my top 5. Ohio State. Why do you still have Ohio State up here? This is what I'm saying. They got the best loss. In terms of my top 25, they have the best loss of anybody. With one loss. They lost to my number 1 team, Michigan. So yeah, I have them here. If Oregon wins the Pac-12 championship, yeah, they will jump Ohio State. If Texas, if they win the Big 12 championship, they will jump Ohio State. It's as simple as that. As of right now, though, going into this week, or I think Ohio State should be 5. That's just my theory. And it's gonna look different after the conference championship game. It is. I'm just saying, Ohio State, they have the best loss. Ohio State, I don't see a path for them in the college football playoff. So there is no path. There is no path. It is what it is. Sorry. Oh, so really we're just talking about 7 teams that can make the college football playoff. So 7 teams and 4 spots. Washington, they're in winning, you're in. Winning, you're in. And to be fair, they're not coming into this Pac-12 championship looking strong. They had the close call with Oregon State the week prior. And then this week, I know, rivalry game against Washington State. And they kind of won with moxie. It was like 4th and 1 at their own, what? It was like at their own 30, I think. And they do a play action wide receiver reverse. Romadunze crosses midfield. They get a field goal range. They hit the game winner. But still, Washington State hasn't been the most impressive team, like second half of the season team this year. So you're not really riding a lot of momentum, in my opinion. That's why I think Oregon's gonna win the Pac-12. But hey, we'll see. Washington already beat them once. And then I have Florida State. They got things done against Florida, 24-15. The important note in this game against Florida is Rodemaker exited the game with what I presume was a concussion. I think he'll probably be good to go against Louisville, but I'm not positive. You'll have to clear concussion protocol, but Florida State, if they win, they're in. They win, they're in. For me, it's as simple as that, because the teams like Texas will have, well, really the only other Power 5 squad. Texas has 1 loss, so we're going to go with the undefeated conference champion rather than the defeated conference champion. Georgia, they actually had kind of an interesting game as they beat Georgia Tech 31-23 to go undefeated. This is in Bobby Dodd Stadium. where Georgia Tech battled back from 31-13 in the fourth, like middle of the fourth quarter. And Alex honestly had a shot to tie the game up. So kind of wild, But they're going to be now both. I don't know. Maybe both them and Alabama got caught looking ahead. But they're there. They make it. They're going to the SEC championship game. Michigan. Let's actually talk about this Michigan game a little bit. For me, Michigan is kind of the safest. Yeah, no, they're going to beat Iowa. How is Iowa 10-2? They got a good defense, and honestly, the Big Ten is kind of mid. There, I said it. It's a 3-team conference, in my opinion. But I don't know. They didn't look like the defense did enough. They were able to get McCord to make mistakes, and offensively, like, okay, yeah, JJ McCarthy dropped a dime or two here, but it was really just the consistent run game and just controlling the clock, and that's kind of what won the game for them at the end. Well, the defense won the game for them at the end, but yeah, no, I mean, they just kind of played their game and just put Ohio State on the heels, and like, hey, you're playing catch up. We're going to set the tone. We're going to set the momentum, and you're going to stay behind. You're going to be just trying to follow our lead the whole game. And it ended up being that way. It ended up them getting the job done. For all intents and purposes, I think they are this. I think this is the only team I could say with 100% confidence going to the college football playoff. There, I said it. Listen, I know you love the NFL draft as much as I do, and you're going to want a nice hefty watch list of players during this college football season. Well, go ahead, check out my draft guide. You can purchase it for only $30 by Venmoing or PayPaling me. Links in the description. It's a one-time payment, and you get it for this whole draft cycle and forever and always. Technically, it's a Google spreadsheet, so send me your email when you send the payment. I'll get you hooked up. You will see my current prospect rankings and big board, my full evals, and guess what? It updates throughout the whole draft cycle. So it's a great purchase, and it's a great way to support the channel. Touchdowns, with the most important one coming on 4th and goal from the 31. Kind of ridiculous. He's actually statistically having a really good season, so he sneaks in here at number 5. At number 4, I have Carson Beck, still not like the stellarest of games, going 13-20 for only 175 yards and a touchdown. Did have the interception, but it was like a tipped ball, like deflected in the air, so not entirely on him in that one, but at least for the course of the season, man, I think he's put out a very solid year for the undefeated Bulldogs. At number 3, I have Michael Penix Jr., who, again, maybe not the most stellar game against Washington State, but goes for over 200 yards, throws for 2 tutties, leads his team to victory. They're currently still undefeated, so he finds himself here at number 3. Again, he was much hotter at the beginning of the year than he has been here in this like last little stretch. But for me, it's a 2-man race. It's a 2-horse race. Number 2 being Bo Nix. Bo Nix, a tremendous game against Oregon State where he had 3 total touchdowns, threw for over 360 yards, and he will get an opportunity to win the Pac-12 championship in a revenge game. And hey, this is the team that beat us earlier in the year. Let's go. Let's get that win back. However, for me, it's still a little bit of a runaway with Jaden Daniels. It just sucks that Jaden Daniels is on a 3-loss team. But for me, statistically and in terms of just excitement, he is literally electrifying. When you watch him, this cat had over 120 rushing yards, had over 130 passing yards, 4 touchdowns. He's been padding the stat sheet all season, and I think he is truly worthy of the Heisman Trophy. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. That's it for the video. Go ahead, do that YouTube thing, but as always, till next time, be easy, my friends. Later.